Golden Opportunities is paid for by Elder Productions.
Hello, I'm Lori Steiner. Welcome to Golden Opportunities.
Today, 'tis the season for holiday thieving. We'll propose proven protections for you and your home. Then we'll unwrap ways to make you smile. Cleveland radio has always rocked. We'll hear behind-the-scenes stories about the man sitting at the microphones. Plus, having issues inhaling or exhaling? We'll help you breathe easier. And your heirs may insist that someone had undue influence on your estate plans. Do they have a legal leg to stand on? We'll lay down the law.
It's time to get geoing, so pull up a chair and join us at our kitchen table for Golden Opportunities. While you're shopping for gifts and wrapping presents, remember, bad guys don't take a holiday at the holidays. During this season, remember to focus on safety and security. Security expert Tim Dimoff has made a list of safety tips, and he recommends you check it twice. Tim is with Sachs Consulting and Investigative Services. So hello there at this time of year. We have to worry about these kinds of things.
Yes, we do, and happy holidays.
Thanks, same to you. Hopefully for the economy's sake, people are out shopping, but what do they need to keep in mind to protect themselves?
Well, I think it's a 360-degree type of attitude, you know. You got to be aware of everybody around you. You got to be aware of everything that you're doing and the processes, how you handle your money, your gifts, your car, how you walk, talk, and protect yourself during the holidays.
Okay, how about cash? I mean, if people go to ATMs, any special? Well,
on ATMs, you know, I encourage people, try to use the ATMs that are in the bank, that you're familiar with, that you go to on a regular basis. The ones to avoid are those ones that you run out of money, you forgot your credit cards or money, and you go outside and it's in the middle basically of nowhere, lots of access and ability for people to watch you, follow you after you take money out, you know. So you really want to come with your credit cards and your money to the stores.
Okay, and then when you're shopping and you bought all these things, you're carrying all these packages for presents. That can lead to pickpocketing, right?
Well, once again, yeah, you know, if you have too much going on around you, people can bump into you and you don't even know they're bumping into you. So once again, we are really stressing this season 360. That means be aware of totally all the way around your human being.
And to avoid pickpockets, you put your money so you know what's going on with it, right?
Yeah, a lot of people, if you're carrying money in your pants pockets or whatever, it's best to carry the money in your front pockets. Where people get pickpocketed is if the money or cards or wallet is in their back pocket. Also, the purse. If the purse is held in the front of the body instead of slung behind the body or back off to the side, those are where the pickpockets are focusing on.
Okay, and maybe cash isn't so great to carry around, but credit cards and debit cards might be better, so any tips with protecting those?
One of the things we need to do, and we need to do it not just during the holiday, but take all the credit cards in your purse or wallet. First thing is, take the ones out that you just don't use. And when you do need to use them for special trips or stuff, add them back in. But the bottom line is, go to a copy machine, put every single thing you got in your wallet, from your driver's license to your Social Security card to whatever you're carrying, credit cards, make a copy, and put that copy safely in your records at home. If your purse or wallet gets stolen, you have a record of everything. The hassle is trying to remember what I had in my purse or wallet.
Exactly, yes. So, and your statements that you get once a month, or even that you can look at online, can give you a heads up that something's wrong, right?
Statements tell you all these different charges, especially if you see a charge for a nickel, a penny, a dime. That means they're testing your credit card ability for them to use it. You really want to be aware of those. Bottom line, everybody today should have some form of identity theft. Let the identity theft system work for you 24/7 and while you're sleeping.
All right. Any ideas for how to stay safe and sound in your home sweet home?
Well, in your home, it comes down to, first thing, surprisingly, lights. Motion sensor lights outside. It keeps the cost down. Now with LED, solar lights, whatever, the cost is minimal even to leave an LED on. Lights are number one around your house. If a criminal's going down the street, the very first thing they do is pick a dark house. Secondly, good deadbolt locks on your house. And if you can afford a simple alarm, you can now buy them anywhere. Simple alarms are affordable.
All right, great tips for the holidays. The gift of feeling safe and secure is priceless. If you need more ideas on how to give yourself this gift, give Tim a call at the number coming up next. My thanks to Tim for helping us have a safer holiday season.
Thank you.
Find out more by calling Sachs Consulting and Investigative Services at 1-888-SACS. That's 1-888-722-7937. Or click to www.sacsconsulting.com. Next, a gift that lights up the room. But first, on Tuesday evening, Hanukkah will begin with the lighting of the menorah. Here in the U.S., it's also celebrated with special food, prayers, songs, gifts, and games with a dreidel. But other countries put a different spin on this festival of lights. Can you name one of the two places that leave fried jelly donuts to feast on? We'll serve up the answer when we return.
Hilltop Village Apartments is retirement living at its best. Residents enjoy a wide variety of activities and living services with all large first-floor apartments, private screened-in patios with beautiful park views, daily dining room meals, free laundry facilities, 24-hour staff, and so much more. Enjoy safe, comfortable independence at a very affordable price. Call today for a tour and learn how you can get your first month's rent free. Hilltop Village Apartments, retirement living at its best.
In Israel and Morocco, jelly donuts fried in oil are enjoyable eats that help herald the holiday of Hanukkah.
There's nothing like seeing the smile on a loved one's face when they open a gift from you. But sometimes that smile doesn't appear, not because they don't like your gift, but because they don't like their smile. In the spirit of the season, Dennis Steve Marsh is here with stories of grins that were given as gifts. So welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me, Lori.
We got a husband and wife, a father and son, sisters, moms. You've got stories of all kinds of family gifts that were involved in smiles.
Right, at this time of the year, what better time to show what people have done for each other in a very loving, kind way. So we have lots of befores and afters and lots of patients we've treated.
All right, let's get going.
Okay, so this is a before and after on a woman whose husband, some of your viewers may remember, it was a Valentine's Day about 2 years ago, and he said, I'm going to take you somewhere for Valentine's Day. The kids were in school, and she said, why are we in an office building? And it was my dental office. He had known about us through Golden Opportunities. He said, she's a wonderful person, takes care of all of us except for her smile. She won't even smile because of the position of the teeth. So these are porcelain veneers that we used. We reshaped the teeth. No orthodontics in this case, unless we had a lot of time. And there she is before and after. She's graciously allowed us to show her picture. But what a difference in her life, and what a loving husband. And he said, we wanted to show appreciation. So this is a very different story. This is a man who was in his 80s. He had a loving son. He was widowed. His father, his name is Robert, and he wanted to do something for his father. And his father had let his teeth go, sort of. It wasn't a big priority. His son sort of had to drag him. Now he's one of our biggest advocates. That picture before and after, after Lori, was about 5-6 years ago. He's in his 90s. Wonderful personality. He was in this week, and that made me reminded me of him. So a wonderful story, and he couldn't be more proud of that smile that he has. So this is another interesting story of loving. This is a sister who took care of her other sister. Her sister had been the patient had been a teacher. She actually suffered some loss and had some depression. And with that came her teeth. So there were a number of things in the viewers left. You can see she had actually worn her teeth down to nothing. The lower fronts had been worn. This often happens, and she was only in her 60s. And her sister said, I want her to have some life. I want her to be able to enjoy her food. There's again the before and after, the same patient. You can see how she let him go. That happens when people have some depression, that sort of thing. They don't take care of themselves. The upper teeth, unfortunately, had to be removed. They weren't savable. That's an upper denture that we tried to match very closely to the lower teeth that we did with some veneers. This took about 3 months from beginning to end. We made sure that she was okay with it. And I have to tell you, she is a different person.
Oh, that's
she
great.
says it now. Her sister says it was one of the greatest gifts anybody could ever have. And lastly, a patient who came in not so long ago, worn out teeth, had broken them down, was very unhappy. On the lower teeth, people said, how'd you do that? We reshaped them on the lower. They wanted to invest in the upper, didn't like the color, didn't like the fracturing, and those are porcelain veneers that we can do in 2 appointments. On the lower, we did, again, just some reshaping to give her a beautiful smile, and that's what we were able to accomplish, again, with a loving family member.
And we've only got a couple weeks left till Christmas time, so not a lot of time. There's something that can still be done that quickly?
So we wanted, you talk about white Christmas, white holidays without the snow, if we can. Anyway, in our office, we do Zoom whitening. It takes about an hour and a half to get you a beautiful smile. Works great on some people, not so well on others, but we also augment that with some whitening trays. And my staff and team at my office suggested we do something for the viewers of Golden Opportunities. So we'd take some money off and make it a little bit more affordable during this time.
Sounds great. The gift of a smile lasts long after this particular present is unwrapped. To make the season bright for you and your loved ones, give Steve a call. The number's next.
See what Dr. Stephen Marsh can do for your smile by calling 440-461-1003 or visit www.clevelandsmiles.com. Next, Radio Days. Looking for places to go, things to do? Welcome to our community calendar. Visit Stan Hewitt Hall and Gardens now through December 30th and see how they deck the hall. Discover a storybook Christmas through the decorations in the Manor House and be enlightened by over 850,000 lights that shine throughout the entire estate. You can get all the details by giving Stan Hewitt a call at 330-836-5533 or click to www.stanhewitt.org.
The Buzzard, Gary D., John Lanigan, Cleveland radio ruled and rocked the airwaves back in the 1960s and 70s, making headlines and history. Michael Shevsky has captured stories of the men behind the microphone, including himself, in Cleveland Radio Tales, and he's here to share a few of them today. So welcome back to the show.
It's great to be back here, Lori. Great to see you.
All right. Well, back in the day, WMMS was the king. Nobody could even touch them, could they?
Oh, there was no question about it. You know, the funny thing was, it was the vision of a guy named Milton Maltz. And WMMS had been around for a while, but Milton Maltz came to Cleveland, fell in love with the city, and said, you know what? These guys are all hippies. They're kind of anti-establishment, but I bet we can work with them. Let's capture the essence of what they're talking about. And it became a powerhouse. It became a monolith. It was the most important radio station in the country.
Oh, that's what I listened to.
Sure.
And how about the Vietnam War thing?
Well, that was the whole thing. You know, Vietnam kind of brought together the whole counterculture, you know, and at one time, radio stations were even interrupting the programming to say when the with the lottery for the draft was going on. It was the unifying force, and radio was sort of our backyard fence.
Okay, and he didn't allow them to advertise on the station, though,
right?
He
did not allow the, actually it was, a lot of people at the station said we cannot allow the U.S. Army, even though the station needed the money at that time, they said we cannot allow the U.S. Army to, actually advertise on our radio station because kids would be joining up, they didn't have a job, and they'd be going on to Vietnam. Yeah. So it was a bold move, but hey, they took it.
And talk radio wasn't dead during this time either, right?
Oh, brother.
Could be really loud with one DJ in particular, correct?
Well, early 1970s, WERE was, they had Bill Randall and all that sort of thing. But in 1972, they changed to a format called People Power. Highly controversial. #1 ratings, they couldn't sell it because it was so controversial. And the most controversial guy of them all was Gary D., of course. Gary D., the mouth of the Cuyahoga, I guess you could call him, the Fresno Flash. And he came into town and really put us on its ear.
Did he actually do a show naked?
He did a show naked, as did Howie Lund. And yeah, they actually did. In fact, there's a picture of old Howie doing the show nude. It was theater of the mind in so many ways, but it was wonderful. Gary tried to come off as being sort of like this backwoods appellation and all that sort of thing. The thing was, he was a brilliant guy because he had a master's degree, he taught school, and the joke was, he would say these controversial things, these outrageous things. The joke was how many people called in to agree with him.
Oh,
that was the joke.
So he had lots of stories on the air, huh?
Brother, did he ever. Yes. Of course, he was also married to Liz Richards, who was part of the Morning Exchange, and they were fodder for great gossip.
And we know that, from War of the Worlds kind of thing, that radio can sometimes make an imaginary world that people really buy into.
Yeah, you know, and it's funny because when TV first came out, a lot of people said they didn't want to go to TV because the pictures were better on radio. That just shows the power of imagination. Certainly, you know, the WMS had its own War of the Worlds. We all had, most of the stations had like phony Christmas parades. Ray Hoffman, the WERE, had Celebrity Donuts, which is a phony donut shop. But the king of them all was Wayne Mack. Wayne Mack was on the radio, and he used to have the Crystal Ballroom, and he would have these wonderful bands playing at the Crystal Ballroom, the most elegant ballroom on the shores of Lake Erie. And people would get in their car, they'd drive around for hours looking for this Crystal Ballroom. There was no Crystal Ballroom. It was just in their heads.
Did he ever give directions?
No, he never did. He just said it was on the shores of Lake Erie, and that covers a lot of ground.
He even did a live performance from the Crystal Shore Room?
There was a famous story where he had Barbara Streisand playing with, oh gosh, I forget the name of the
Harry James.
That was it, Harry James. And everybody wanted to see Harry James, you know, play with Barbara Streisand. Harry had been dead for 10 years. So that was going to be a pretty tough one to fill.
But, people still bought into it, huh?
Exactly, sure. He just played the record of Barbara Streisand playing with Harry James. So.
How about you? You were instrumental in this part of the time frame on radio?
My wife Janice and I are co-authors of Cleveland Radio Tales, and I'll tell you what, we were very honored to have seen a lot of that firsthand. Did we know something was special? Yeah, we did. And I knew that when I went into work every day that I was never going to have another job that was as good as this. But every day there was something new, something different, sometimes something difficult, but at the same time, always something just memorable.
What station were you on?
Well, I was on WERE in the beginning, and then when I got the call to go to WMMS, I said, try to stop me. So,
yeah.
There's plenty more for many more books, and I'm sure they'll be coming our way too.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Lori.
In Mike's book, Cleveland Radio Tales, there are stories and personalities and events that will take you back in time and let you relive the rockin' and rollin' days of Cleveland radio. My thanks to Mike for sharing a few of those stories with us today.
To learn more or to order the book, call Gray & Company Publishers at 216-431-2665 or log on to www.grayco.com. Next, how to have better breathing. It's time to get up and go, an exercise segment on golden opportunities.
Hello everybody, it's Mike Carbon for Breakout Fitness, and today we're here to show you how to work the biceps in the front of the arm by doing a simple band bicep curl. You ready to go? Let's do it. All right. We have our band, so all we're going to do is we're going to place our arch of the foot, our right foot on the center of the band. We're going to make sure our feet are offset so we don't lose our balance. Letting your arms hang to the side. All we're going to do is twist and curl the bands up. Make sure that your elbows do not move. Your elbows should be stationary throughout the entire exercise. If you're alternating arms, as I am, you can go ahead and just alternate to 30. If you're doing as Lori's doing over there, you can just go ahead and go to 20 because she's actually working both together. That's amazing. How you feeling?
Great.
Looks good. Yeah, perfect form. Good posture. You're breathing. Excellent. Keep it up. All right, everybody. Now it's your turn to get up and go.
For your copy of the exercise booklet, send $1 for postage to Golden Opportunities, 6105 Parkland Boulevard, Suite 140, Mayfield Heights, Ohio, 44124.
Take a deep breath. Sounds easy, right? But for many, breathing can be a bit of a bother. Dr. David Rosenberg has joined us in the UH Broadcast Center to offer advice on alleviating respiratory issues. Dr. Rosenberg is a pulmonologist at University Hospitals. Welcome to our show, Doctor.
Well, thank you very much.
So as we age, are we all at risk of increasing respiratory problems?
Without question. I mean, there are two basic components of lung function. One is ventilation, and the second is oxygenation. Ventilation is simply the movement of air in and out of the lungs. Oxygenation is where that air that's breathed in, the oxygen is absorbed in the bloodstream. As we get older, there's a natural decrease in these lung functions. When you combine this natural decrease in lung function with patients who have chronic respiratory problems and by nature decreased lung function, these patients are particularly at risk for problems as they get older.
Okay, so how do you help them?
Well, there's a lot of ways, but one is pulmonary rehabilitation. This is a comprehensive program where Different kinds of components are added to this patient's therapies to help their pulmonary reserve, to increase it. The different components are, first, exercise training, not just to improve their strength, but their cardiovascular fitness. The second is healthy living, better nutrition, stopping smoking if they are, hopefully they're not, and just the importance of exercising regularly. Then we teach them about their medications, the importance of the medications and how to use them. We teach them knowledge about their disease so they can ask their doctors better questions. And then unfortunately, a lot of these patients with chronic problems have a lot of stress related to their chronic disease.
Yeah, I would imagine that.
Absolutely, we want to help them with that.
Okay, and so what kind of results have you seen from this approach?
Without question, major positive things. A decrease in symptoms, less shortness of breath. They don't use their physician services as much, and they aren't admitted to the hospital as much.
Okay, sounds like it's a success, but you've also expanded this treatment option, so tell us about that.
Right. I mean, traditionally, pulmonary rehabilitation has been geared to outpatient care, but there's a whole segment of population of patients with chronic respiratory problems. They're admitted to the hospital, get better, it's time for discharge, but they're not capable of living by themselves because of their decreased reserve. We're earmarking this segment of the population. UH and Hoosier Medical Center has partnered with Menora Park Center for Senior Living in Beechwood to create a subacute cardiopulmonary rehab center. And in fact, well, I should mention that the rehab specialists at Menora Park and the nurses are terrific. And there are only a handful of these programs in the country. This is the first one in Ohio.
Wow. Okay, so what's the goal?
The goal is to make patients feel better, improve their respiratory reserve, improve their oxygenation and their ventilation, and to make them independent at home so they can live at home.
Okay, so it's sort of a bridge program between hospital and at home.
Absolutely.
So what happens when they do return home?
Well, we want to build upon the gains they've achieved from the program. And this can be achieved by connections with home care services, physicians who are understandable of their disease state and the importance of pulmonary rehabilitation, and obviously connections to allow them to exercise and continue training as an outpatient.
Okay, and keep that good work going. Keep them
Unbelievable.
out of the hospital.
Unbelievable.
Huh?
We think that this segment of the population will be majorly benefited by this program.
Great information. If you have pulmonary issues, University Hospitals has a pulmonary program in place to help. My thanks to Dr. Rosenberg for sharing this information, which will allow many patients to breathe easier.
Learn more by calling the Center for Lifelong Health at University Hospitals at 1-844-312-LIFE. That's 5433. Or visit their website, www.uhhospitals.org/lifelonghealth. Next, are your estate plans protected?
Right now, proton therapy, a revolutionary treatment for many types of cancer, is available for the first time in Ohio, and only at University Hospital's Seidman Cancer Center. That's the future of cancer care. That's UH Seidman Cancer Center. Right now, the trusted experts of University Hospital's Seidman Cancer Center and the most advanced cancer-fighting technologies are in 17 community locations. That's leading-edge care, where you're most comfortable. That's UH Seidman Cancer Center.
In July, 2 different Ohio appellate courts decided 2 different cases dealing with undue influence. Essentially, the plaintiffs felt that due to undue influence, their inheritances were reduced or eliminated. Could your heirs undo your estate plan? Let's see what those cases decided. The first case is called Poston versus Love. In this case, the decedent left most of her assets to one of her sisters and to her daughter. She left her disabled son a much smaller amount. After her death, her ex-husband, whom the court indicated hadn't even had contact with her son for 17 years, became the son's guardian and argued that the sister had unduly influenced the mother to leave the daughter money instead of the son. So what happened? On appeal, the court decided that the allegations the ex-husband made were insufficient to prove undue influence. Although he testified that the sister was advising the decedent before her death, he admitted that he really wasn't even familiar with what they discussed. Basically, the ex-husband argued that the distribution was unfair. Bottom line is that not liking the outcome and simply thinking it should not be the outcome isn't enough to improve undue influence. You need to prove something more. That only makes sense. So what happened in the other case? Here's a very brief overview. In this case, Kiefer versus Kiefer, decedent and his wife Kim began dating in 2001. The decedent had a child from a previous marriage. Before they married, decedent signed a will leaving his home and his family farm to Kim. They married in 2010, and decedent also made Kim his beneficiary on many accounts. When he died in 2013, his son from a previous marriage challenged the will and the beneficiary designations. One of his arguments was undue influence. Essentially, he argued that his father trusted and confided in Kim more than anyone else. He also used Kim's testimony that decedent would listen to her point of view and that she and the decedent would discuss matters together and make joint decisions. The court stated that that just describes any good marriage. Undue influence can arise in a marriage, but the presumption of undue influence does not arise solely based on the marriage. So, what do these cases mean to you in your estate plan? If you're updating your estate plan, make sure everything is documented, what you want to leave and who you want to leave it to. The execution should be formal in front of qualified witnesses who can attest to your competency. Ask a lawyer for advice to have the best facts and circumstances to avoid a challenge. On the other hand, if you're in a situation where you think your loved one was unduly influenced, do these cases mean all is lost? Absolutely not. But to prove undue influence, you need evidence. Evidence that can show the decedent was susceptible to undue influence, was influenced, and the outcome changed as a result. Proving undue influence is difficult, but not impossible. It really is all about the evidence. Still have questions? Use the information that's coming up next.
Call Solomon, Steiner, and Peck at 1-888-236-5173 for more information or to schedule a speaker for your organization. Or log on to www.ssnplaw.com.
Thanks for joining us. On next week's show, is taking a lump sum the sweetest deal? We'll add up the true costs. Then there's a treatment for heart disease that even some doctors don't know about, but we do, and we'll tell you all about it. And don't let the Grinch steal the value of your gift cards. We'll unwrap important rules. But until then, please, remember to make the most of your golden opportunities.
If you'd like to join our kitchen conversation, visit our website, www.goldenopportunities.tv. Like us on Facebook. Call us at 440-742-GO-TV or email us at kitchen@goldenopportunities.tv. We'd love to hear from you.
Golden Opportunities is paid for by Elder Productions.